Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, we're going to be taking a little bit of a look at a rather exciting new item card, which is coming out in Full Metal Wall in Japan. It will be coming out in Unbroken Bonds over here, incidentally. It is Devolution Spray Z, and ladies and gentlemen, this is a card that we really need. We lost Devolution Spray to the rotation. We needed some kind of new thing, and this is actually, dare I say it, better, kind of. What you do is you select an evolution Pokemon and remove as many stages as you like, and then shuffle them into your deck. The devolved Pokemon cannot evolve during this turn. Now, there's two major points here, at least compared to the original Devolution Spray. First of all, you can remove as many stages of evolution as you like. You're not just limited to one. But secondly, you shuffle them into your deck. So the original Devolution Spray left the cards in your hand, and that meant you could immediately evolve the next turn. Or if you had, for instance, I don't know, let's say 2 Zubat on the field, you could devolve one and immediately evolve the other with the Crobat you've just put into your hand. That is an option with Devolution Spray Z, but only if you're able to play a card like a Timer Ball or an Ultra Ball to get that card back out. So it is more difficult to get the evolution rolling again unless you're playing something like the new Nidoqueen, which just lets you search for a Pokemon. But the comparisons to Devolution Spray here are a little bit disingenuous, because it's not like we've got Devolution Spray and Devolution Spray Z and we can just choose between them. No, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have that option. We've only got this one. And I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty gosh darned awesome. Now, we have got some options for this at the moment. The one that springs to mind immediately is Celebi Prism Star. Now, I still consider Celebi to be one of the weaker Prism Stars we've had. I will be this week posting a video of the top 10 Prism Stars we've had, and suffice to say, Celebi is nowhere near that particular list. The attack, the first one for 1 colorless energy, lets you devolve any number of your bench Pokemon as many times as you like, and put each evolution card removed into your hand. Which is fine, it's like as many Devolution Spray as you like, but then you also end up in a super awkward situation of, well, you've used your attack. You've wasted your attack for the turn. Not wasted, but you've used your attack for the turn. It's the only attack you get. You only get one, ladies and gentlemen, and that's the one you've used. So, not an ideal situation, shall we say. But there are plenty of Pokemon that are really going to benefit from this, and one of the ones which immediately springs to mind here is the previous video we did, which is on the new Crobat. The new Crobat's got the ability, which is exactly the same as the old Lucario, the one from Burning Shadows, not that old incidentally, whereby when you evolve up into it, you get immunity for a turn. I like this. I think it's really nice. Now, we said it was significantly better than Lucario because it's got a significantly better attack, 60 damage plus quadruple poison for 3 colorless energy. So here you could potentially just keep devolving, and you can play this like Devolution Spray and just devolve it down one stage. It's a little bit awkward, but it is absolutely a possibility. Again, the cards go into your deck, not your hand, so you've got to re-find it, but that's not exactly the worst problem to have. I mean, there's loads of people at the moment playing a combination of Macargo, lets you search out any card and put it on your deck, on top of, and Oranguru, which lets you draw until you got 3 cards in hand. So certainly there's a possibility here of just playing Macargo Oranguru and being able to research it. And then that will let you reliably loop this ability to try and get the immunity turn after turn. I did do my video, like I said, on Crobat yesterday. I'll make sure I pop a link in the description. But you've also got to have a quick mention here about Frogadier and Greninja, which ironically do have the exact same abilities as the old Golbat and Crobat. When you evolve into Frogadier, then all of a sudden you can just put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. And when you evolve into Greninja, you can all of a sudden put 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So there's a couple ways to play this. You can just use the attack on Greninja, water, double colourless, do some damage, shuffle it into your deck. Certainly there are decks that have been doing this with super boost energy, taking advantage of Meganium to be able to play it all down in one turn, otherwise you'd have to wait a turn to evolve. But another way to play it is just keep playing them down, using the abilities and then getting rid of them. So you can do that. And keep evolving up and keep getting the damage. Okay, you can only play 4 Devolution Spray Z in your deck, but that's still essentially 4 more Frogadier and 4 more Greninja. I mean, I for one am totally okay with that. But the other thing you need to remember is that a lot of these GXs aren't basics. And if you're a non-basic GX, that means you're a 2-prize Pokemon that evolves from a 1-prize Pokemon. Maybe a couple of 1-prize Pokemon if you're a stage 2. So that means what you can do with Devolution Spray Z here is something like a Alolan Ninetales springs to mind. Alolan Ninetales, generally speaking, you use Alolan Vulpix to use Beacon to search out Pokemon, and then you go ahead and evolve up into Alolan Ninetales to search out a couple of item cards. It's one of the best combinations we've got at the moment, especially for setting up stage 2 Pokemon, given that you can search out the Pokemon with Alolan Vulpix, and then the rare candy with Alolan Ninetales. But then you have a 2-prize Pokemon sitting on your bench, and that's a little bit awkward. Some players have started using Acerola just to pick it up and not have it on the bench, potentially giving up 2 prizes. Because remember, if you're playing a non-GX deck, the worst case scenario is that you've got a single 2-prize Pokemon that you use once, and your opponent KOs it and takes 2 prizes to put the prize race back in their favour. This is not what we really want. So what you do here is you just devolve it into a Alolan Vulpix. And there is a situation here where potentially your opponent has done, say, 80 damage and your devolving actually KOs a Alolan Vulpix. But at least then you're only giving up 1 prize rather than leaving this Pokemon on the field and potentially giving your opponent the opportunity to take 2 prizes off it later on in the game. That is not where we want to be. And I think they are the 2 main uses for this here. You're either taking a GX off the field so your opponent doesn't have a 2-prize out, or you're reusing coming into play abilities. Certainly something like Lycanroc here would be an absolutely huge advantage. Lycanroc has got the amazing ability Bloodthirsty Eyes, which lets you drag a Pokemon from the bench into the active, and that's really, really nice in terms of just getting kind of an extra Guzma without having to play a Guzma. It's a great ability, but there's a whole bunch of people. I mean, look, Dangerous Rogue is a great, great attack. 50 damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon for 2 energy. And if you're against a Zoroark, using Claw Slash to get a 1-hit KO is awesome. But generally with Lycanroc, if you're not hitting for weakness, you've got a really nice ability and a really nice GX attack. So when you've used a GX attack, or if you don't want to use a GX attack, you essentially put yourself in a position of, okay, well that's kind of it. I've used my ability, I've used or don't want to use my GX attack, what now? And the what now is devolve it and get ready to use it again in the future. Have access to more instances of Bloodthirsty Eyes. And of course, if you're using something, it's not really relevant for Lycanroc, but if you're using something like Frogadier, you can play Devolution Spray and okay, you can't evolve that Froakie this turn, but you can evolve another one. The ideal situation here is that you've got 1 Froakie and 2 Frogadier on the field. You play Greninja to get the free damage counters, and whereas that would usually be the end of it, you then play Devolution Spray Z, pick them up, and then you've got a Froakie ready to evolve into a Frogadier ready to evolve into a Greninja, and that's an extra 5 damage counters that you wouldn't otherwise be dropping. And that Froakie's still sitting there ready to be evolved next turn. Now remember, and I do need to stress this one more time before the end of the video, Devolution Spray Z shuffles the cards back into your deck, so you've got to draw into them again. It's not like the old Devolution Spray, whereby you just picked it up. But you do get as many stages as you like, rather than just the 1 stage. It's a great card, it's a 4-Wassy card, it is definitely going to see play. The shuffling into the deck is a pain, but it is outweighed by the fact that for something like Greninja or any other stage 2, you get both the stages back. I expect to see this being played in a bunch of decks. But I would very much like to know what you think about this, ladies and gentlemen. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! But please do remember the most important rule as always. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk Transformers and Keyforge and other games that take our fancy. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.